First story. Wife had multiple affair and now want to reconcile. Recovering BS here. My wife recently had a PA with her AP starting in March. I fought it out for a few weeks, saying we could make it work, but alas, she continued her PA, and I told her recently I am divorcing her. She has narcissistic tendencies and I learned what I was experiencing was emotional abuse and physical abuse. My concern right now is that I am feeling terribly lonely. Even though I have a strong network of family that live nearby and friends, I desperately want female companionship. How do you manage the loneliness and desperation to feel emotionally connected to others? Update. Why don't you care more? I filed for divorce. She is with her AP. Am I doing this right? After 12 years of marriage and 3 children, I, 42, am finally filed for divorce from my wife 40F. I can say with confidence I am making the right decision. Although there is still a lot of feelings and love for my wife, I know staying with her is not in my best interest. She is not taking it so well. One minute she'll be angry, the next she'll be crying and blame shifting. One moment she was mad that I wasn't more emotional than I was. She is with her AP right now, and while it still stings, a large part of me is okay with it. The obsessions and intrusive thoughts are hard but getting better, and I like to believe I am moving slowly but steadily toward acceptance. I'm still a ways to go on this journey, but I am comforted in that I am further along than I imagined I would be at this stage. Recognizing the effect that emotional abuse, narc abuse, has had on me has really made me realize how unhappy I was in my marriage. I can feel the loneliness eating at me, but my hope is that this, too, will get better with time. Does it sound like I am doing this right? I am focusing on building my relationships, general happiness, and balancing my staying busy with also working through the negative emotions when the time is right. Anybody have any encouragements or suggestions on how to manage WW's ups and downs of her emotions? Update. Serial cheater STBXW who I am divorcing is spreading lies about me. What to do? Hi friends. My STBXW who is a serial cheater is a narcissist and I'm worried about what she is telling our friends at our kids' LM school. How do you all recommend I handle the situation? We informally agreed to keep things amicable and not to share details with the community, but I also don't trust her to hold up her end of the bargain. Based on the reaction of one friend, I am pretty sure she is sharing a narrative of me being an aggressive, controlling husband, neither of which is true. Any thoughts or suggestions? Update. Dating a person with little to no net worth at age 40. Not quite ready to date yet, not even close, but thinking about the future. I haven't dated in 15 years, but now I find myself really caring about net worth and earning potential. I met this great woman, but she has 3 kids and has been a som for the last 10 years. She is going back to school but she won't be earning a salary for years. Would anyone else here find that to be a deal breaker? I feel like her and her kids would be a big financial burden, even though she receives alimony and child support. I also worry about not having enough time to grow my relationship with her, as she has like 80% custody. Are these typical common concerns? Update. Narc infidelity. What to share with friend with a gossipy wife. I am meeting with a close friend today to share more about my narc STBXW, and my friend's wife will be joining. She is very gossipy and is connected to our school community, but she also has experienced infidelity before, so I think she'll be sympathetic. I don't mind her joining, but also am cautious since she can't keep a secret. Still early in the divorce process, so I don't want the entire community knowing our business, but at the same time, I am almost certain my STBXW is starting a smear campaign against me. My main goal is to connect with my buddy and build a support network for myself moving forward and not to compromise my settlement mediation, which occurs in 2 weeks. How would you handle the situation? Update. STBXW is trying to make me jealous by flirting with men. Any thoughts? As the title suggests, my STBXW made it a point to flirt and talk with guys at our community gym in front of me. It was silently infuriating because it was intended to hurt me, but I don't think it had the intended effect. I always assumed she was with her affair partner during the past few weeks, but apparently they're not together. I assume she did this because she is hurt that I am divorcing her. Not sure what to think of this passive-aggressive and also sadistic behavior, but a large part of me doesn't really care what she's doing. But I am embarrassed for us both that she does this when we're at the very beginning of the divorce process. Otherwise I'm about 75% indifferent and 25% jealous, hurt and mad. Any insights? Edit. There's one large community gym in our town. That's why we go to the same gym. Tough part is that it is also where her affair started. I also have a lot of friends who go there, and I have many friends in some of the fitness classes. I don't want to give that up, but I am considering it. Overall, I'm happy this incident didn't affect me much, which to me indicates I might be okay going to the same gym. Update. I had more retirement savings entering my marriage. Does this mean all has to be 50-50? Hi friends. Entering my marriage I had saved $39,000 into my retirement accounts, whereas my wife had only saved $4,000. This was 8 years ago. When it comes to dividing our assets, how does this come into play when trying to divide our assets evenly? It doesn't seem fair that my wife gets half of this when I brought to the marriage more money than she did. $39,000 over 7 years at 7% interest rate, extremely conservative, means this grew into $62,000. Currently, my retirement accounts make up about $350,000 and hers $250,000. My lawyer and I are putting forth an offer to her lawyer, and I want to find a way to argue that I deserve more of my share than a 50-50 split of our retirement accounts. Any insights would be appreciated, recognizing there may be jurisdictional differences in how this is handled. Thanks. Update. Whether to buy out wife on rental property. Hi smart people, I am going through a divorce and am wondering whether I should try to buy my wife out of our rental property. Here are the numbers. Value. $415K per appraisal, but unlikely to sell this high. Equity. $140. So I would assume I would have to buy my wife out of this at around $70,000. I would be using a combination of cash and retirement account transfers, loans, mortgage, $275,000 at 4%, monthly payment, $1,900, utilities, $250, large issues, leaky roof, wet crawl space, and lots of water runoff when it rains. Also foundation issues, but the house is generally settled now. When fully occupied I can get around $3,200 per month by renting out individual rooms. Cash flows positive about $800 per month. But it's an active investment strategy and does stress me out. I am thinking right now I want the simplicity of index funds and chill. The city is a MCOL tourist destination, medium city in the South TN. The house came back appraised at $415, and I'm almost certain it won't go for more than $390 due to a leaky roof. History of foundation problems and water issues in the crawl space. It also has a musty smell in the living room right as you walk in and has a generally low quality build to the place. The comps which were used for the property appraisal didn't take these things into account. The timeline I would have to sell the house is 2 to 4 years. I would probably live in it for 2 years and sell it to avoid capital gains taxes and use the money to pay down my primary residence, so I can refinance at a lower mortgage balance. Currently the mortgage for the house I want to keep for a long time is over $400K, which on my income, around $110,000, would be a squeeze. Any thoughts on what questions you would be asking yourself and how to decide whether to sell or to buy out the STBXW? Update. Should I stop going to the gym where my wife had her affair? Hi all, STBXW had a PA with a man at our community gym. Divorce will be final in about a month. It's the biggest gym in our city, and a lot of my friends go there for fitness classes, and it's also a great place for me to meet friends. A lot of my current friends and I attend a specific class on a particular day. It's an anchor to other social activities that we do. Also, I frequently use this gym when I have my kids because the facility has a generous daycare program while you work out. The problem right now is that my wife and I are seeing each other at the gym in the weight room, and she is with her AP there sometimes and it crushes me. It puts me in a spiral for a few hours to days and really messes with my head. Side note, it is a Christian organization gym YMCA. And I have a recording of her confessing that she had sex with this man at least 3 times at this gym. She also happens to be an instructor at this gym, and has a following with the classes that she teaches. Few people know her secret. A vindictive part of me fantasizes about exposing her by sharing this recording. However, I know this is not in the best interest of myself or my family. I am thinking I should probably avoid this gym for my own mental health. But it really irks me because what she has done here is so wrong. Other gyms are not community focused and quitting this gym would close my access to a lot of community programs, classes, and friends that I would otherwise meet. The other path to consider is that I continue to coexist with my STBXW and just ignore her. This will come at a high mental health cost. But out of principle, I really don't want to give her the satisfaction of me leaving that gym. I also assume this will get better with time, and I will learn what times of day I should probably avoid the place. One goal of mine is to start taking every group fitness class I can to meet new people and build a new life. Better yet, I would love to have a group of friends that are interested in taking different classes with me. That way I have a little more moral support, as emotionally I'm still a wreck. The final thought I had was that I could join a second gym and go there whenever I don't want to be exposed to the STBXW, or if I don't want to deal with the emotions that come from that, i.e., a safe space to work out in. This whole situation is unbelievably fucked up. What advice do you all have for me? Update. STBXW seems interested in R. Would love to hear your thoughts. Hi all. Long story short, I am currently in a painful divorce after discovering that my STBXW had been unfaithful, including both emotional and physical affairs with different men. I am now navigating the aftermath, focusing on healing, personal growth, and finding a healthy way forward. D-Day was 6 months ago. I filed for divorce 4 months ago. I believe she dated her AP during that time period, and possibly may still be dating him. I also dated casually during this time. A mutual friend reached out recently about a baby shower invite and messaged both me and my STBXW. Awkward. I spoke with him for 2 hours last night, and he was sympathetic, and I really respect his opinion. He's educated on psychology and emotions. He's a neurologist, still slightly young and inexperienced with marriage, but also had a lot of good points which reminded me how much I have invested in my marriage. He pushed me on reconsidering reconciliation, arguing that we would ultimately regret the decision not to give it another shot. A part of me is interested in reconciliation, but also concerned that she hasn't put in much work into her own emotional healing and dysregulation which led to her infidelity. She has a history of trauma and avoidant attachment and narc traits. Another part of me thinks things have been going better than expected on my own. Also, all my close friends and family know what she has done, and I struggle to consider what that would mean to them if I gave it another shot. I am leaning toward not reconciling because I see how much work it would take to get to a better place, and I don't think it's worth it, assuming we ever get there. I think it would be different if she had a more introspection than simply saying, "I appreciate you, and I'm sorry for everything," and if she were seeing a therapist. I expect that I will need some time to figure things out, but was curious, what advice do you have for me as a group that is pro-reconciliation? I am concerned about the risk of failure if we try again, and a prolonging of this hell that I have been through. On the other hand, I still love my wife. She made me happy for most years that we were together, but I am not convinced she has what it will take to get us to a healthy, safe place with our relationship. I think I can find happiness with or without her, so I'm struggling. Thank you for reading. Second story. My wife of 12 years is emotionally cheating on me with my friend. This is not the first time she has cheated. Should I get divorced? I 35M. Love my wife, 36F, and we have been together for 18 years, married for 12 and have 2 girls together. Our relationship has always had communication issues, even from the beginning, but I love her more than anything. She has been depressed for the last year, maybe longer but not as bad as recently, due to her father dying in 2021. Not feeling fulfilled with her accomplishments, career, feeling unseen, lack of friends. She is in therapy dealing with her depression and past trauma. I am working harder than ever to make sure that she feels truly seen and heard by me. I play with our girls, I cook, I clean, take care of the bills and difficult life issues. I literally do everything I can for our family in all aspects. A little context. After our first child, we were only 19-20. She had postpartum depression and cheated on me with her ex. He was also a predator as they dated when she was 16 and he was 30. We broke up on my birthday night after I saw them chatting at the bar, and we got back together 2 months later. She told me nothing happened but they dated while we were apart. Years later I found out they were together for a month or 2 before that. 6 years later, after we were married, I found out that she had been texting, emailing a different ex who lived across the country. She was also hiding this, and when confronted said we are just friends. That's why it didn't work between us, but we still like to talk. I decided to let it go, but then later realized they were emotionally cheating, sending pics, and having mail sent to her work so they could write letters to each other. Ironically, on my birthday again, that year I checked her online phone bill status and saw that they had texted 400 times that day. We talked about this, and she agreed to stop talking to him because it was affecting our marriage. She begged me not to request a printout of the texts. I don't even know if I could have, but wish I had. Back to the present, she said due to her depression she wants some time and space, no romantic physical intimacy. We still share a bed, but that's about it. I have had a friend for 20 years. He has been living in another country for the past 13-ish years, and she has been friends with him for about 15 years, but they just share reels and memes. During her depression they have gotten closer and talking more, and she again is acting the exact same as before. Changed her phone password, closes apps when I walk in the room, turned off all online activity on all apps. She admitted that he said his therapist thinks he's flirting with her, and that they have a connection and is attracted to him. The way she lies is always only giving up the bare minimum details that she thinks she can get away with, and will only admit bad things if I have proof. There are a lot of other small things, but I think that it's time to end our marriage. This is too painful and I don't trust her or believe her at all. Anybody have a similar situation happen to them? Third story. I found out my wife is cheating. What do? I need advice. My wife has recently become very distant. I assumed she was cheating, but after a conversation she swore she wasn't and told me that she's very depressed, suicidal even, and she's just dealing with too much and not sure she even loves me anymore. Then she told me there is still hope, that she just needs time to work on herself and wants to seek counseling. She told me she wants us to work, but that she needs to focus on herself for a bit. I told her I understand and that while I was willing to give her some space, I'm not going to back off, especially if she's suicidal, that I want to be there for her and help her through it. I even suggested couples counseling so that maybe we can work on being better for one another at the same time. Well, after a couple days my gut still didn't feel right. And while no, it's wrong, I went through her phone while she slept. Turns out she is cheating. And not just with one person, but two. One of them is a LDR. She's apparently developing, and texts revealed that she was planning on going to see this person in a few months. A trip I was told was with her cousin. The second person is someone right here in town, who is supposed to be a friend of the family. In my heartbreak and anger, I woke her up in a rather unfriendly way and confronted her. The conversation started rough, calmed down, and seemed to be going well. And then at the end she began to gaslight the situation and try to make it sound like she's the victim, and I'm trying to stop her from having a life by telling her she needs to stop communicating with her affairs altogether. She said I'm stopping her from even having friends because now I don't trust her, and now all she's going to go to work and come home and be a miserable good little girl. Now I'm not sure where we stand or what to do. This woman is the love of my life and I'm so broken over this. Should I still pursue couples counseling, or is this just the end?